Hello. I'd like to talk about Leatherman, or more specifically, the new Leatherman Heritage PST. Now, don't get excited, I don't have one, but then again, don't leave because I've got some points about it that I'd like to discuss. I do have an original, however, and I'm going to use this as a reference. And I do have some important points about the original. I'll start off by saying that this is obviously a limited edition and is limited to 500 pieces worldwide. Obviously these will be available in the United States, and I believe they will be available in the UK. I believe the only place you'll be able to get this model is going to be Heine Haynes. I don't know how many they're going to have, not very many I assume, probably less than 100. They're already sold out on Heine and they haven't even arrived in the UK yet, so it seems to be popular. Now the price of the Heritage PST is $280 or 250 British pounds. Now to me that's rather insane, considering what the PST is. That's probably one of the most expensive ever Leathermans, except maybe some of the treads with the watches. But other than that, I can't actually think of a more expensive Leatherman. I'm sure they probably are actually. Anyway, the claim that it's handcrafted like the original. I don't actually know how they produced them, but that's just what I read. And they have a signature written on them. I'm not sure whose signature it is. You would have thought it would be Tim Leatherman, but I believe it isn't. I find it rather unfortunate that these are so limited and are so expensive. I think it would be really good if they made an original PST an affordable option. You know, maybe around £50 or something. So now some people collect the original PSTs. I believe there's 7 variants of them. I'm not entirely sure though, and I don't have a clue which one I have. They're from different dates, but they are all the original PST, meaning the PST before the PST2. But I can't verify. This is just from the research I've done and looking at various Facebook groups. But from what I've gathered, people like to collect the PST, and a lot of people actually still carry these models even though they're the oldest Leatherman around. And from what I've gathered, there are quite a few people, especially in the UK, buying the originals to use them. And that makes sense because the original PST is one of the few Leathermans that are legal to carry in the UK because the blade's non-locking and it's less than 2 inches. And considering how old this is, I think this is still an excellent tool. If these weren't discontinued, I'd carry this, but I don't because they're discontinued. That's not to say these are expensive. I paid £10 for this, and you can get these tools from anywhere between £10 and £50. That's usually the going rate, between £10 and £50, depending on who you buy it from and the condition. My one is in pretty damn good condition, I think. It looks like it's barely seen any use, although the sheath looks like shit. It's all ripped up. That doesn't really matter much though. For me, this Leatherman, believe it or not, just sits in my display cabinet. Because it's the only one I have, and I've not really come across any other ones. And the only other one I have come across, I think, was a bit overpriced, considering that it was a bit wobbly and I wasn't really a fan of that. I was going to buy it, but then I changed my mind. Now, if Leatherman was to release one of these on a much bigger scale at a more affordable price, I'd definitely consider buying one. I'd happily pay £50 for a brand new PST. And I would definitely carry it. There's been so many times that I've looked at this Leatherman sitting in a cabinet and thinking I'd love to carry that, and then I sort of think to myself, no, what if I lose it, or what if it gets confiscated by the police or whatever? Then that's probably one of my most collectible Leathermans gone. Yeah, the Leatherman PST is nothing special, but it is the original one. It's a really nice tool, I think. And once more, in my opinion, it's a nice piece of history, or at least a nice piece of Leatherman's history. This is the multi-tool that started them all. Without the PST, we wouldn't see the rebar, we wouldn't see the super tool, we wouldn't see the wave. This is what started it off. We wouldn't see the tread. And this is really light, you know, compared to something like the wave. Just hand in hand, the PST feels like half the weight. Now, in fairness, the wave has a few more tools, and it's much stronger than the PST. But once again, for me, one of the best things about the PST is its non-locking blade. Now, in my opinion, this is actually very comfortable to hold. Unlike most Leathermans. You know, that's not the most comfortable thing to hold. Besides, I can't legally carry this because it locks. Rather annoying, isn't it? Another good thing about these is their size. These are very thin. Compare that to the wave. You can see it's considerably thinner. It almost looks half the size. And even if we compare it to a rebar, still a lot smaller, definitely lighter, and I can legally carry this. This one I cannot. I'd like to go back to talk some more about the collectors, PST, the Heritage PST. Yeah, £250 is a bit much. Now, on the other hand, if that was a Victorinox, if that was a, what was the original Swiss Army knife? Maybe no Wenger or Wenger. If that was an 1890s, I don't know the specific date, but if that was an 1890s Swiss Army knife at that £250, I'd probably buy that if I had the money. I think that the history of Victorinox and Wenger is much more interesting than Leatherman. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Leatherman, and I think their history is interesting too. Maybe that's just me preferring Victorinox or Swiss Army knives over Leatherman, but that's just my thoughts. Honestly, in conclusion, I think the Heritage PST is a bit overpriced for what it is. But like I said, if they were to make a cheaper reproduction, say around £50, I would definitely buy that. Well, anyway, that's all. Thank you for watching.